Is unfettered creativity always a good thing? Yeah. Wrestling Empire is the latest in a long line of games that all have one thing in common. They're all batshit insane. The logo on the front is purely coincidental. M-Dicky is one of the most prolific one-man development teams in the world. Try as you might, you've seen one of his games. And that's because, over the course of a 20-plus year career, Matthew Dickey has released over 70 games. Are all of these games to roughly the same standard of quality? Well, it'd be rude to say yes. It'd also be fair. M. Dickey got his start in game making all the way back in 2000, making WWF fan games where you try to jump on people as Matt and Jeff Hardy, or beat people up as Stone Cold Steve Austin. His first robust, complete game would come with Federation Online in 2001, only a year after beginning in the medium, and he's already completed 8 games. Now, sure, these games were not the most complicated things in the world, but you could tell that this was somebody who was finding their feet fast. The next year brought a 3D version of his Hardy Boys game called Big Bumps, with a Z, and it would be the first time he tried out the third dimension, and from there, the floodgates were opened. A new series called Wrestling Empire would be released that would serve not just as a template for future installments in the series, but for a variety of other M. Dickey games, namely Hard Times and the U Testament. Using the engine of a wrestling game, these two would be about surviving in prison and the story of Jesus. This one gained a minor bit of controversy when it was first released, as people were asking, why are you doing this? M. Dickey realized that he had gone too far, and made sure to make an Islamic version of the game about following the Prophet Muhammad. After these games, though, M. Dickey would temporarily retire from the game-making scene. Part of the reason why, which sounds ridiculous in retrospect, is that people thought his games stunk. Fan receptions to later games like the U Testament and Hard Times were incredibly negative, and he thought that now was the right time to throw in the towel. Instead, he chose to focus on what seemed like a more lucrative endeavor, making software for classrooms that would make learning entertaining and fun for kids. It turns out, though, that it wasn't the money spinner that he had been hoping for, and he learned that most classrooms were looking to teach the kids more than entertain them. This spurred M. Dickey to get back into the game-making scene a brief 3 years after going into retirement. This return would coincide with the rise of the App Store on mobile devices, which would be the perfect place for him to work. Given the overall lower standards of mobile game users, M. Dickey's perceived lack of quality was all but moot, and 2D remakes of his games were selling great. Although nothing came close to the runaway success of Wrestling Revolution 3D. Over 100 million downloads on mobile devices, even more across services like Steam. More people than ever got to see what an M. Dickey game was like. Unfortunately, that was the problem, as more people than ever were being hypercritical of the game. Why is that? And why did the same thing happen to him before? Well, I think it's time to address the obvious. M. Dickey games are kinda bad. That's a term of endearment, but it still requires some explanation. So M. Dickey is just one guy. My conspiracy theory says otherwise. He's one of the longest tenured solo developers who's stayed just that, a single developer. Sometimes there will be outside support for his games from small teams, but by and large, everything you've seen has been done by just one guy. And as just one guy, M. Dickey doesn't have the resources to make his games to the same standard that a whole company or even a small team can. They're glitchy, the controls don't always work, but he isn't trying to make a massive world-changing game here. Looking through interviews and his Twitter account shows that M. Dickey's philosophy on game making is that he's making these games for himself, and it just so happens that a lot of people like what he likes. What if he was more into knives or anthrax? Would you be happy then? The fact that these games are released at all is a testament to his follow-through and capability to make as much as he does while being a solo developer. That hasn't stopped the games from being played as often as they have, though. 100 million downloads can't be wrong, and there is an incredibly passionate and growing group of MDickie fans. The thing is, though, that people usually aren't coming for the game's quality. They're coming because it's fun to laugh at them. Again, not in a malicious sense, in the way that we all point and laugh at a game like Babylon's Fall. I gather up a group of friends to point and laugh at Babylon's Fall. What else are weekends for? MDickie games are the perfect, so bad they're good sort of games. In the U Testament's 2D remake, I started by playing as Hulk Hogan, killed a chicken, slaughtered 2 Romans, got off scot-free, got beaten up while listening to Jesus complain, lost a popularity contest to Kratos, got crucified, and died. They're not the most blockbuster or polished games you can find, but who cares? They're fun in part due to their lack of polish, and Matt himself seems to have realized that. Even more than his limits, MDickie seems keenly aware of the so bad they're good reputation his games have, plastering his social media with quotes like, "single-handedly responsible for the worst games to ever be enjoyed by millions of people." He's doing this for the love of doing it, and it's worked out great for him so far. Although the nastiness directed towards him following Wrestling Revolution 3D was enough to shunt him into a second early retirement. However, it was during that second retirement that he announced that he'd be working on a new wrestling game for mobile devices and Nintendo Switch. I want to be prouder of Matt for getting onto the Nintendo Switch, but Nintendo made like a dead submarine captain and forgot to close the door. If anything, MDickie games look at home on the Nintendo eShop. So the latest MDickie game would come out, and for the first time, it got the luxury it rightly deserved of coming out in a time where people were a lot kinder to both solo developers and so bad they're good games. The game's been lavished with praise ever since release, so much so that the Big D has been constantly updating it. Every few months, a new piece of content will drop, from putting those lazy clouds to work to introducing new match types and weaponry. This has made the game his most feature-rich and deep yet, and it's time to see just how deep it really is. Alright, so when starting Wrestling Empire, you need to do the tutorial. I know that doesn't sound all that weird. Imagine learning how to do something before you do it. Driver Zed? No, driver is Jack. So the controls are simple at face value. X strikes, A runs, B picks stuff up, and Y grapples. You can grapple people from the front, the back, and on the ground at their head or at their legs. From there, pressing any of the other face buttons and a direction will have you doing a different move, which opens up movesets to have dozens of varied moves that can all have different properties. With submission moves, you can build a moveset all around targeting a body part to soften it up for a quick tap out. You can do a lot of moves that launch the opponent out of the ring to try to deal a lot of damage. You can go for high flying if you want to waste your time, because flying attacks are incredibly underpowered. There's really no limit to what you can make your wrestler do. There are some odd mechanics, though, that you'll have to get used to, like the right stick being how you taunt, pick people up off the ground, and do finishing moves all in one. The part you'll need to train for the most, though, is the jank. Sometimes punches don't work. Sometimes launching moves don't work. A lot of the time, reversals don't work. Submission moves barely make any sense, and seem to just be a way to end a match without putting your opponent through all 9 circles of hell, because God is it hard to win by pinfall. Strangely though, none of that ruins the game, or makes it unfun, or makes it frustrating. Wrestling Empire's gameplay is in a weird space, where it's almost as much fun as it is in spite of itself. This should be a broken mess, and in a lot of ways, yeah, but it's still in-depth and most importantly fun enough that I don't really care. Also, the most important reason to go to training before anything else is because your career counselor told you to get skills that transferred easily to other jobs, and that's exactly what you're doing here. Every single MDickie game controls the same, so you learn one, you've learned them all. That includes the U Testament. How does Jesus know how to do a choke slam? Abraham Lincoln hasn't invented that yet. Now, alongside exhibition and a general manager mode where you can try to run your own wrestling federation, the main draw of this game is the career mode, a fully explorable 3D open world flooded with characters and interactable objects that can affect your career. But before we go in, it's important to have a career to affect. Oh, we're so back, baby! So the best part of any wrestling game is getting to make your own character, and Wrestling Empire nails exactly what I want. That's anything but human. This is an absolute creature feature with the chance to make any sort of nightmare come to life. The options may feel limited and extremely unwieldy, but if anything, that just makes it all the more fun to make something that kinda looks like what you want and just trying to roll with it. That's not all though, as on top of their stats and costume, you also get to select their movesets from an absolutely massive list. Every move can be a dick punch, make the most vile man who's ever lived. You can even set up who your wrestler's friends and enemies are, both on and off screen, to help you either in matches or in the open world. Now, while making Goku is as easy as it is in any other MDickie game, and the chance to make a truly unlovable freak is right there, I decided in a world as strange as this one, I should pull back a bit to stand out. Besides, this game has mod support, and I might have downloaded a few to spice up the open world. I'm not trying to make anything silly, though. Isn't that right, Chris from Deltarune? My only regret is downloading a mod that gave all the wrestler stand-ins their real names back, which means we have lame names like The Undertaker and John Cena, when we could have had Phil Graves and Jimmy Sierra. As for my character, meet the Diggity Dog. People have been asking for years now, they've never answered, I'm finally gonna get to the bottom of it. What is the dog doing? He loves getting down in the dog pound and winning wrestling matches. If he had to describe his style in one word, it would be dog. He's also not taking off the suit because he thinks it looks good on him. Starting out our career, we're all the way down in the minor leagues of wrestling school. This is where most playthroughs start, and it's up to you to claw your way up to the main events of the biggest organizations in the world. If we want the chance to shine on the brightest stage, though, we're gonna need to wrestle that championship off of Mr. Satan. And the best way to do that is by getting in the ring and racking up wins. Our first match is up against Flex Beanbag on one of the wrestling school's student nights where we get to show off our stuff in front of a crowd. The Diggity Dog wants to try to appeal to the young kids and grabs a skateboard to do some tricks. This should hopefully distract them from how I don't know how to wrestle. The match starts and the dog is already starting strong, injuring his leg on the first move he's ever performed in his entire life. Not long after that, he's already hurt his shoulder and is hitting Flex with Steiner screwdrivers and release German suplexes. He then cracks his skull open on the steel steps outside of the ring. The match continues on until after being launched out of the ring, cracking a rib, then being tossed back into the ring, Dog picks up the pin as Flex lays in a pool of his own blood. These two went through the most hellish 4 minutes and 30 seconds of all time. And somehow the promoter ends up charging me to wrestle for him? I'm not good with money, guys. How much should I pay my boss to work at McDonald's? Now, the match is done, and in most wrestling games, that means we'd just head on to the next one. But in Wrestling Empire, the carnage has just begun. It's up to you to get from your hotel to the arena for your match before heading back again at night. That's all you have to do, but there are about a dozen areas you can explore with different random encounters, scenarios, and fights for you to get into. And since the controls are the exact same no matter where you go, it doesn't matter where you are, you can just start haymakering someone in the head as soon as you see them. It's a really open system that lets you do whatever you want, and incur whatever consequences those actions bring. If you go around just starting fights, you're gonna get a lot of enemies and be under constant threat of attack. This can also lead to you getting injured or losing popularity and favor with the promoter. Every action you take has consequences for good and for bad, and it makes this mode way deeper than pretty much any other wrestling game's career mode. In my very first time getting full control of my character, I did the Chun-Li lightning kicks to Eddie Guerrero, kicked Disco Inferno's balls until he cried, did a somersault off my boss's desk, and then went to bed. As soon as he wakes up, Diggity Dog tries and fails to get a title shot from Mr. Satan, who says that he's at the back of the line. What? I've had a wrestling match. That makes me just about as qualified as anybody else. While he's walking the mean streets of Slamtown, USA, the Diggity Dog gets propositioned by this guy called Waste Man, who wants to be his manager. Diggity Dog calmly flies into a blood rage that sees him beat the man unconscious, do press-ups with his body, and make him pass out in the streets. It is a good thing you can't kill people in this game. After getting inside and finishing the job Batman started, Diggity Dog tries to fight Mr. Satan until somebody who should have been minding their own business comes in and chokes him out. You'd think that would affect our upcoming match, but it's Disco Inferno. Disco Inferno sucks. Diggity Dog smokes this fool in under a minute, squashes him like he's nothing. Suplex, neckbreaker, Guile's flash kick, tap out. The dog ain't done with him yet, though, as he grabs an exploding barbed wire bat and beats Disco until he can't anymore. It's a really good thing you can't kill people in this game. Dog's cockiness finally catches up to him, as instead of just going home, getting some rest, and trying to get a title match tomorrow, he just has to try something with Mr. Satan and gets surrounded by wrestlers. He manages to escape with a scant no health and drags his sorry carcass back to the hotel to sleep it off and start again tomorrow. We're currently 2 for 2 in terms of matches though, so as long as we keep up our winning ways, we're sure to get a title match in no time. We're not going into our next match with Ryo Hama at 100% though, so we need to find a way to fix that. The arena has a built-in hospital where injured wrestlers can go that has plenty of food lying around that we can eat to heal up. All this orange eating though made me forget I got a match to win! But I'm never too busy to beat up Ferb. This is easily the most competitive match I've had so far. Hama is much tougher than the last 2 guys I've fought, so I'm gonna have to pull out all the stops if I want. Hello? Oh, I guess that was a tourist coming to check out what a pro wrestling match looked like. It's not uncommon for a match to get run in on, especially by somebody you've never met before who decided now would be an incredible time to get to know you. That was Sebastian Slobber, and he was just so excited to meet the guy who got his ass kicked by Mr. Satan, he couldn't wait to say hi. After finally putting Hama down, I think it's time we check out a little bit of the rest of the map, since we've only gotten a small part so far. Heading down to the subways, and we butt heads with this guy, Berlane. He tries to beat me up, brag about his championship. He really hasn't seen what I do to people, has he? Oh, you're so proud of your championship, eh? It's a tag belt. You couldn't even win it on your own. Oh, hey there, sport. Of course I'll teach you a move or 2. What was I doing again? Oh yeah, take this, you bastard! I throw him onto the railroad tracks and he's still rubbing that stupid belt in my face. All right, pal, I'm gonna come down there and teach you something. Oh yeah, I can see you quaking in your boots. Or a train's coming. If so, good, eat this! Ah! He tries going to sleep on the subway tracks, classic egotistical move, so we suplex him right back down, and that's weird, he's fighting us with his eyes closed. And he's not moving. Or breathing. Let's just leave and come back and... Berlane? Hey! Hey, Berlane, don't go sleeping on railroad tracks! Wake up, buddy! Here, I'll revive him by putting him in a sharpshooter. Wow, Sid Kick, I can't believe you did that to him. I gotta go! Alright, so I left an unconscious guy on the railroad tracks of a major subway system, but so what? He'll pop up any second now. Okay, so the police are looking for information. Which means they don't know it was me. Okay, good. Yeah, I was lying when I said you can't kill people in this game. You absolutely can. It's entirely possible to injure somebody or even get injured so badly that you succumb to your wounds and die, which is what happened to our friend Berlane. The industry is banding together to hold a show in tribute to the life of Berlane. which I have been invited to perform on. Oh, so they really don't know it was me. All right, everybody, I know we're all looking for the guy who did this, but what would Jesus do? That's right, turn the other cheek and forget about it. We're facing Sour Power, a wrestler from the Super Lucha Libre promotion who threatens to break our winning streak, which he's very likely to do since killing Berlane has left the Diggity Dog all tuckered out. All right, I just want to make it real clear, Berlane died of natural causes. It was only natural that the train would kill him when it hit him. Let me just kick this guy a few more times. If anything, I'd say the industry killed him. Halfway through the match, the promoter from another rival organization and the wrestler from a fourth unrelated rival promotion invade the match. We start falling over ourselves, the crowd's laughing at us, that fourth wrestler got injured mid-run-in. We really respected Berlane's memory tonight, didn't we? Alright, so we're all ready to move past the whole Berlane thing. Look, Sans had a good day. We even get our first offer to move up to the big leagues and actually get paid to wrestle. But I'm getting greedy, I want more. Sid Kick, the kid who I taught those moves to back in the subway, has finally been released from police custody after I said that he was the one responsible for Berlane's murder. And to make sure he doesn't tell anybody what actually happened, I challenged him to a loser's evidence is not permittable in court match. Oh my god, 2 on the same show? I warm up by killing Disco Inferno. Metaphorically, the violence I then perform on this child is borderline criminal. But luckily, after I pick up the win, borderline is as close as it's gonna get. Man, all those metaphors made it sound like getting away with murder was hard. Still haven't been paid to wrestle yet, but I'm sure I just gotta earn my dues. We're moving on to August now, and our first matchup is against the Mighty Hercules in a Hell in a Cell match. We're coming in with less health than ever before, now having a meager 29% that drops to 12% before we can even step in the ring. It's then that the doctor offers us some steroids that can get us big, fast, but steroids are illegal, I don't need drugs to win, I just need to believe in myself. And if I can't believe hard enough, I can always just kill them. It's time for the most dangerous match of my career, locked in like an animal in a cage with a guy twice my size and 3 times my weight. I'm able to get an early advantage with a few well-timed pile drivers, but I get put right back in my place as my health gets shredded to nothing by an accident on the outside. I have no idea what it was, but it was bad, I guess. Did I mention the camera is atrocious? Yeah, not just in this one, which suffers from the wrestling game problem of having cage matches be the most visually frustrating matches to play, but in the rest of the game too. I have it set to an isometric view right now, which means it won't move, but if you dare to switch that setting, you'll have a camera tied to the ceiling fan that will swing around the entire match, and often just obscure whatever you're trying to see. Camera be damned though, I'm able to make Hercules tap out and pick up the win. You can also see up here that Diggity Dog has yet to wrestle a match that has reached the lofty heights of watchable. Kind of explains the crowd we draw every night. Alright. Let's just go home. I am so tired. Ow! I hope you learned your lesson. Who are you? Ugh. Getting hit like that really screwed me up. I slept in. I'm gonna be late for my match. Is that a bomb? Is it a real one? Yeah, there's only one way to find out. I really hope those people are worse at being murdered than Berlane was! I fight a guy called Sweetness, but honestly kinda just went on autopilot. Got in the ring, moves happened, and he lost. I have no idea how I got here, but I'm pretty happy. After the sort of stuff I've been going through, though, I'm ready to just sleep the rest of the day off and... Oh, a present! A bag of broken glass! Aw, and it's in my size. The next day comes, and would you look at that, they're trying to put me against my best friend, Chris from Deltarune. And before anybody thinks that sounds weird, this isn't the video game character Chris from Deltarune, this is the real person Chris from Deltarune, and they're my friend, not yours! I also pissed myself in the ring. That's a mechanic, and Chris insisted on keeping the match localized entirely in the piss corner. Like what you do with a dog when you're upset that they peed on the rug. I try and take it easy on my best friend. I don't attempt to murder, but I wasn't gonna let him win easily. In fact, I didn't let them win at all. I'm too big and strong. But I could be bigger and stronger. Doc, just stick a bike pump in me and keep going till I say when. My new and improved physique is more than enough to court Mr. Satan's eye and convince him to take me on in the ring on the 1st of September. While I'm riding high, I also send out feelers to Lance Monaco on if he wants me to join his All-American Wrestling organization. I take rejection really, really well. So well, in fact, that he challenges me to a match. He's not a wrestler. I don't think he knows how this is gonna go. Right now, I have a match to prepare for as Sid Kick is trying to release the footage from the night of the murder I committed, and that might not put me in the best light, so I'm gonna have to beat the stuffing out of him again. Welcome to the press conference for the Sid Kick vs. Diggity Dog match. Diggity, what do you have to say? I've got a lot of momentum right now. Sid Kick's just gonna be another win. I can't believe I have to sit here on my time talking about an empty-headed dumb fuck like Diggity Dog. I thought we were just playing pretend. I'm sorry if I made you upset. I smooth things over. Don't worry. I throw him out of the ring like dirty laundry. Then, after a fairly definitive win, he gets back up and calls the results bogus and demands that I restart the match so we can see what should have happened. Okay. Alrighty, September 1st. Time for my title match. Wait, where's the match? They canceled the show? The show where I'm supposed to win my big title? Are you kidding me? Luckily, Satan isn't the gutless coward I've been telling everybody he is, and he agrees to have the match after my Lance Monaco match. Speaking of which, he's up next. And this isn't a one-on-one match that I had assumed it was. Now instead, it's a 24-man over-the-top rope tag team match. Coming down to the ring is the Diggity Dog and his platoon of about 11 other wrestlers. I have barely met any of these people, and they all decided to fight on my behalf. Lance comes out with his 11 wrestlers, and now the only way this is gonna end is if we send all 12 of them flying over the top rope. The match that follows is sheer insanity that's hard to put into words. So here are just a few of the highlights. I point-blank refused to tag anybody else in as long as I could, and instead tried to beat up 12 men all on my own because I'm a goddamn star. This often came at the detriment of my teammates, including but not limited to several people I've beaten viciously, others I'm not sure existed before or after this match, and Susie from Deltarune. Hey, look out for the Diggity Dog. I hear he's gonna be the secret boss in Chapter 3. Lance sent goon after goon to keep me from getting to him, including Eddie Kingston, who I was never able to get my hands on as the legal man since he kept tagging out. That all ended when he was called in to be the next wrestler, but since he was standing on the outside when they called him in, he was immediately eliminated and lost after 0 seconds of ring time. My team ended up pitching a shutout as it was time for me to dance with the devil and face Mr. Satan. This was set to be the most hellacious match of all time. It even drew our first fan to confirm that yes, I am a wrestler. Mr. Satan took me to hell and back. He was determined to keep his championship. I pulled out all the stops, but he still wouldn't go down. Pile drivers, power bombs, suplexes. Just short of killing him, I used my entire playbook. The match goes on for a grueling 12 minutes, ring stained in blood, and I'm so close to finally putting Mr. Satan down for the final 3 count. But just as I'm about to clinch it, he takes the coward's way out and gets counted out. I won the match, but I can't win the belt on a disqualification. That belt was mine. I'm supposed to be the champion, but now I'll never get the chance. On the upside, the press has started to report on my massive weight gain. I think I look good for 65. Although, the match was an absolute barnstormer, and that little brat that I smacked around can attest to it. That means I'm able to get new opportunities and get a new contract offer to work at Strong Style Wrestling. It's finally time for me to leave this little league rinky-dink operation and move on to bigger and better things. Alright, first day at work. Boss immediately changes my costume to wrestling in my underwear and showing off why I wore a hat all the time. It's natural for my age! Working for a bigger promotion carries a lot more expectations, so we're gonna have to dress the part, stay healthy, and try not to kill anybody. On it, failing, and I only promise to try. A quick bathroom hot dog gives me the strength I need to get out to the ring, but with only 9% health left, I'm gonna have to work harder than ever to beat Jerry Buckler. Alright, the costume is embarrassing. At least I can just go out there and get this over. Ah! Wait, you're supposed to wrestle in front of people? Wrestlers without knee pads are the most naked-looking people in the world. Does that make sense? Jerry is very, very kind, and doesn't beat the piss out of me like I deserve, and gives me enough space to mount an offense, pile driving him onto his own guitar to get the win. After the match, I decided to take out some of my professional frustrations on Jerry's face. Today has had its highs and its lows, but I get to end on a high by viciously beating this scary home invader who was waiting for me in my hotel room. Every day, I am checking for my chance to change back to my old outfit. It's incredibly difficult to do my job when the crowd has a working knowledge of what my nipples look like. My next match is my very first traditional tag team match with Buddy Brew versus Venom. Hey, it's the guy who ran in on me when I was telling all those people the truth about Berlane's sudden and tragic demise. Tag team matches are like if you turned sharing the Xbox with your little brother into a match type, where you kinda gotta let him play even though you really don't want to. Even though I'm wrestling for 2 in this match, we still managed to pick up a win, even if Buddy ends up feeling disappointed that he wasn't in enough of the match. You know, most people would have appreciated the night off. I'm certainly not getting any breaks like that. Now the owner of Strong Style wants me to win a championship because they're not convinced I have it in me. Lady, I've been here for less than a week. Can't I get a little more time? I only have until the 4th week of November before I get fired for not being a champion. How many championships does this company have that I don't know about that I'm the only one being threatened with winning a pink slip over it? The champion, Angel Dust, takes me aside and tries to reassure me that everything's gonna be okay. The beatdown that I give him next is biblical. I beat the dog shit out of this guy for like an hour. I was really trying to goad him into a match with me. I made him tap out 5 times, made him drink his own blood, broke both his hands, and he still won't crack. Trying to get my hands on some acid to see if that gets the point across. This has gotta be the most stressful period of my whole career. They're reporting about my troubles in the paper every day. I can't get any of the champions to accept a match. The only solace that I have is that I got my clothes back and don't feel so exposed. And to top things off, I have another Hell in a Cell match! And this one's in front of people! I really hope I don't piss myself again. It's time to do battle with Marcus Maximus. And as if heaven itself opened up for a second, I finally caught a break. Marcus suffered a debilitating injury a minute into the match! Yeah, his back is broken! He can barely stand up, let alone wrestle! This has gotta be the best thing to happen to me in a long time. I mean, I still pound on him for a while just to make sure he's not faking it, but when he starts vomiting blood, I realize I could trust him. I mercifully ended the match quickly by forcing him to tap out in a submission hold that hurt his back exclusively, and since he was the TV champion when he got injured, I might as well just hold on to it for him, keep it warm. I did it! By all legal definitions, I'm a champion! My job's safe, my career's intact, and I'm now $100 richer. I don't like to call it that, though. I prefer to call it 33 copies of Balan Wonderworld. This calls for a celebration! I'm going to a place I have a lot of good memories in. The good old Subway. Oh, and look who it is, Lance Monaco. Yeah, I bet you regret not signing me now, don't ya? Well, guess what? I don't need you anymore. I'm a champ, you're a chump, and so's your friend Gino. In fact, don't you two have a train to catch? Oh man, sometimes you gotta remember to focus on your real passions. After a full night's sleep, it's time to observe the fruits of my labor. Lance Monaco is no more, and Gino White is... Oh no. Gino's still alive. Well, that can only mean one thing. He's gonna tattle on me! I gotta find him and make sure I finish the job. Gino's in the hospital, head somehow still attached to his body, so I make sure to beat him into a coma so he can't tell anybody. Right after that is the funeral of Lance Monaco, and you know what that means, funeral bloopers! Hey, so, if you're seriously just gonna put this in a hole, I'll just take it. I'm gonna throw him into a jet turbine. I dropped it! Now, this most recent homicidal streak may have made you forget, but I'm actually a pro wrestler, and I have a match to wrestle. It's a quick and easy title defense of my TV title. But what I really want is that world championship. Then I can be the champion of the television and the world. I have to take on Angel Dust and beat him if I want to make that dream a reality, which I luckily have the chance to do right away. On the way to the press conference, a recovered Marcus Maximus asks the wrong guy if I'll go to bat for him to help to start a union, since, yeah, wrestlers aren't unionized. They do all this without a pension. Now, being the rat fink that I am, as soon as I'm pressed about it, I rat out the union and Marcus gets fired for daring to cost the boss slightly more money than usual. But I don't got time to worry about my fellow wrestlers being able to walk when they're 65. They're not gonna make it that far. I got a match to win. Angel Dust thinks he's hot stuff, but I'm too cold to hold. We're total opposites. In more ways than one, I'm a winner and he's a loser. I make him tap out in the center of the ring, and you're looking at Strong Style Wrestling's undisputed champion. All I'm missing are the tag team championships, but I would never degrade myself to work with another wrestler who doesn't have the same killer instinct that I do. Christmas came early for the Diggity Dog, as I'm now the uncontested best in the entire company. Nobody even comes close. So naturally, we sunk down to the second worst in the ratings after I won. I mean, who else on this show is really worth watching? And in unrelated news to me becoming the champion of everything, the organization has lost so much money, we've already had to cancel 2 shows before the month's even begun. Angel Dust invokes his rematch clause and wants to fight me again for the belts. And while I'm more than happy to embarrass him again, I'm only willing to do it in a Christmas chaos match. The ring will be littered with presents, filled with weapons, and don't tell him, but most of them are bombs. Whew. Is it me, or does anybody else feel like declaring their last wills and testaments? Wrestling Empire is the ultimate junk food game. Is it good for me? God, no! Do I want more of it immediately? Yes, please, and I'll pay for it. It's far from the highest quality wrestling game in the world. No one would argue that. Not even the guy who made it. What it has over those games, though, is absolute freedom. Other wrestling games' career modes give you preset paths to go down that give you the illusion of choice, but if you break it down to its simplest form, they have like 12 different scenarios it's possible to play. Wrestling Empire, though, gives you the chance to do whatever you want. If you just care about the wrestling, which is solid enough to hold the whole experience together, you can do that. If you want to be an absolute demon and make enemies with the entire locker room, you can do that too. I've sunk so much time into what is objectively not the best game, because its quality has nothing to do with how much fun it is. And that's what it comes down to. Wrestling Empire is a lot of fun. M. Dickey's philosophy on making games as fast and as cheap as possible may seem like a recipe for failure, but it never forgets that at its core, the game should still be fun, and that's exactly what it succeeds at. But enough sentimental crap. It's time for the match. Diggity Dog, do you have anything to say to your opponent before the match? Yeah, I'm gonna kill him.
I'm not leaving the ring until I'm dragged out in handcuffs for the murder of Angel Dust.
I laid out all these bombs myself. Of course, I didn't have time to write tags of what's in each of the boxes. I had way too many funerals to crash. Match starts, and just to be on the safe side, I start chucking all the presents I can at Dusty until one of them finally goes kaboom. This hold doesn't hurt, but I definitely feel uncomfortable. Man, that's 2 pile drivers, and I can't find which one of these has bombs. Ah, I found one! Okay, that stings. At least I know they're working. And it looks like Angel Dust is prime for the taking. Time to finish you off! What's going on? Where am I? Where's the ring?
We are not in your world anymore. You're in mine. It is I, Lucifer, champion of hell. Come for you, diggity dog.
Hell? No, that's not possible. I'm a good man. I've led a good life. What could I have done that got me sent to hell?
Are you fucking serious? You killed 2 people, but that matters not now. What matters now is that I am giving you a second chance. I shall let you battle my 2 champions for my belt of immortality. Gain this, and you may return to the realm of the living. Though I must warn you, this challenge is not for the faint of heart.
Mom? There are bombs all over the place. What's going on? No, it can't be you. No. Verlaine? No, you're dead. I killed you. Stay back, you freak. Have I killed you before? I can kill you again. I told you to stay down. Lucifer, what's going on? What's happening?
I never told you who my champions were, did I? It's the 2 men who you killed, Verlaine and Lance Monaco.
I can take him out again. You're not staying alive for much longer. Eat this! What?
You didn't think that I would let them fall for the same trick twice. They are invincible, yet you are all too vulnerable.
No, this can't be happening! Ah! Ah!
You honestly believed that there was any chance that you could escape. You fool. You were never going to escape. This is your torture for the rest of eternity, spent being destroyed by the 2 men whose lives you took. Have fun in the nether realm.